What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Today, I'm remembering to do my spiel. So make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it. Also, we'd like to see some thumbs up for this video. Let's see some comments. Let us know your thoughts on the couples we're discussing for this episode 17, I believe.
18.
18. Thank you so much. 18 of season 6 of 90 Day Fiance the Other Way. We'd also like for you to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Last but not least, share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody out here know that JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets. I got my main band, my best friend, Dustin, back with me. What's going on, Dustin?
So glad to be back with you this evening, Jonathan.
Yes,
And thank you for earlier this morning because I was having a rough morning this morning, and I was having a really rough morning this morning. So yeah, I made a little typo, but I've tried to fix that. So thank you very much for
it's
understanding.
it's okay.
And
It's totally fine. I know
thank
your heart, Dustin, so that's all that matters at the end of the day.
thank
So
you.
you're very welcome. We're only focusing on 3 couples this particular episode, which was different for me, but I guess because of James and Natalia's wedding nuptials going on, that took up the majority of the episode. But let's start with Josh and Lily. So Lily is very upset with Josh for the way that he kind of acted out with her daughter Vivian, I believe is her name.
Yes,
He
Vivian.
was, yeah, he
Yep.
got very defensive when they were going out to eat, and I'm surprised that she didn't stop bringing up the issue of their sex life. So I'm assuming because she does not have that conversation with him, either she doesn't want to have that conversation on camera because she was very caught off guard when her daughter Vivian asked her about it in the previous
Yes.
episode, or she doesn't want to try to pressure Josh into that conversation, and she maybe doesn't want to hear his response to any question that she may have concerning their sex life. However,
Okay.
she gives him a chance to kind of apologize, which I did not hear an apology coming from Josh, but he did
I
get
didn't
very
either.
emotional.
Mm,
And he did, give some explanation as to why he did what he did. And he reacted the way that he did react because he felt like it came out of nowhere. And, that was the first question out of Vivian's mouth is concerning their relationship and the issues that they were having. And so that's why he took the route that he did. Once again, I didn't see Josh necessarily being so defensive as if he was just basically defending himself, but not in a defensive manner where he's acting out of character. I never have heard Josh raise his voice at all. I've never heard him disrespect anyone in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know if it's just a cultural thing with Lily, but she wants to move forward with him. But at the end of this conversation, she says, now this is the day before they're supposed to get married. She
yes.
says, you know what? I spent a lot of money on renovations, so I don't have enough money to pay for the wedding. They've only put
Oh,
down 30%. They need to pay another 70%, but she ain't got enough money to pick up the extra 70%. And she tells Josh this the day
the day before
before
they
they're
get married.
supposed to get
Married.
married. So they go to the venue and she tries to work it out with the man who's over the venue. She's like, well, we paid 30%. And so can we just get rid of the reception stuff and just go ahead and have our wedding with what we've already paid? And the man was like, no,
No.
that's not going to happen. Josh says that he has some money saved up, but the way that transfers work in China, he's going to have issues with getting money transferred over. He tries paying with his credit card. The credit card doesn't go through. So it looks like we're not going to have a wedding ceremony. Out of all
Yeah.
the stuff that happened, Dustin, just give me your overall views and then we can get into specifics. What were
Well,
you thinking?
I just want to say, Jonathan, I don't think we're gonna have no wedding in the future,
It doesn't
um,
look like it.
because they have to pay in order to have the wedding. So if they don't have the money to pay for the wedding, then they can't have the wedding. Other than that, they can't get married, in my opinion, because they can't get married without the wedding part. So
Exactly.
that is a bunch of that is a bunch of bull crap.
BS. Yes, you can say it bull crap. That's what it is,
Bullcrap. They
Dustin.
can. That's a bunch of bullcrap to me. Why would you have a wedding and act like you're gonna have a wedding when you're not gonna have it anyway? Uh, that's a bunch of bullcrap to me, Jonathan. Hmm.
It's crazy. What did you think about the fact that Lily waited until the day before they were supposed to get married to tell him she spent some money on renovations of her beautiful house? Hey Robin, I see Robin in the chat. Thank you so much for saying hey to us. We appreciate
Hi,
you and love
Robin.
you for being here with us. What did you think of the fact that Lily waited until the day before they're supposed to get married to tell him she doesn't have the money to pay for it?
Uh, you shouldn't have done that. Well, you shouldn't have done that at all because to me, to me, in my opinion, Jonathan, in your opinion, might be the same as well. My wedding would be the top part of my situation. If I was getting married, and I know if you were getting married, Jonathan, that you would have your wedding would be the top part of your whole thing. You wouldn't
Yeah,
be worried about your house being
renovated.
wouldn't be worried about your house being redone.
Exactly.
You would be uh, busy planning your future and getting ready to be getting married, Jonathan. Which
Top priority. I think it's
top
that's what
priority
you were
is
trying to say,
very much
Dustin. Top priority. Like
right.
Lily seems like she really doesn't have her stuff together. And if you know you're getting married, does this mean that Lily was like not thinking about the wedding being her top priority and she just wants to get
It
renovations
hasn't
done
been,
in her house?
it hasn't been her top priority since episode one.
Right.
It hasn't been her top priority since episode one of season six, and that is all I need to see is proof that you do not want to be married to this man.
Right. I have a feeling, Dustin, that maybe she used this as an excuse to not get married, to maybe back out.
And I
But
also got some tea on. I also got some tea on this couple here. They're not going to be at the tell all. They're not. They're
wow.
not going to be. They allegedly, we're going to say allegedly for the TV purposes, but they're not
Right.
going to be at the tell all because uh, TLC tried to get them there, but she didn't want to show up. But I don't know if he showed up, but she didn't want to be there.
To be honest, I don't know if I care whether they are there or
I
not,
don't either. I
because
don't care.
I
I
would
don't
want to
care.
hear Josh's side of the story, and I would want to hear Lily try to articulate her side of the story. But I don't know if Lily would necessarily have the words in Chinese or in English as to what her role is in this relationship, why she is with Josh, and what made her want
Mm,
to accept his engagement to begin with, and why she is being so lackadaisical as it pertains to them actually getting married. Because you
yeah,
waited until the day before you're supposed to get married to tell your soon to be husband that you don't have the money to finish paying for your wedding. Like,
and I
this
will
is
say it,
crazy to
I will
me.
say it again, and it's a bunch of bullcrap in my opinion.
Right.
You should have your wedding should be the top priority in your top in your highest. You know,
Exactly.
if I was to get if I was to have my future, and if I had my future stuff going, and if I have had plan on getting married in the future, Jennifer, that would
Mhm.
be the top priority in my life, wouldn't it be?
Absolutely, absolutely, Dustin. I have to tell you a secret. When Josh said, "Well, I'll just give him my card and see if it'll work," I had a little bit of hope that it was going to go through and he was going to be able to pay that other 75% because they had to pay over $4,000. I think it was $4,185
Me
dollars
too.
in
Me too,
particular.
Jonathan.
And he slid that card. I was crossing my fingers, Dustin. I was crossing my
Me too.
fingers, hoping it would go through, but
Me
no,
too.
sorry, it did not work for them.
Me.
Robin says, "No wedding?" Question mark. Great, save that pre-divorce step. Yes, Robin. I don't see them working out. I think this is for the best for them,
I
but
think it is. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
honestly don't think that Lily is interested in marrying this man, Josh. I really
Right.
don't think that she's interested in marrying him. I don't know if it's an issue due to the fact that he's not able to contribute financially. I don't know if it's an issue of the lack of their sex life. I don't know what it is. I don't
Yeah.
I don't even know why she wants to be with Josh to begin with. What are her intentions of
She
being with
wants to
him?
be. I honestly can't say her intention because I don't know her intentions. Because
Right.
he's not doing it. He's not doing a darn thing for her, in my opinion. He's
No.
just making her life harder.
Right. And it's really, to be honest, it's really not Josh's fault because Lily knew what Josh's circumstances were before he moved out to China, knew that he would not be able to work, knew that he would not be able to contribute financially, and you still allowed him to come over to
And you
China
should, and,
knowing all of this up front. And now she has the audacity to complain about, him getting quote defensive when her daughter confronts him about their past. It's crazy to me, Dustin.
in my opinion, Jonathan, they should have cut all this off in the first place because they shouldn't have even went through all this. No, no, not no. She knew that he had to support her in the first place, but you know that she wasn't gonna like this. And as you can tell, Jonathan, this ain't going the way that it was supposed to. So my opinion is they should have already cut this off when at the beginning because she knew that he knew that she knew that he couldn't work in the first place. So
Exactly.
why is all this coming to surprise you for? You should have knew this in the first place.
Exactly. And when he was giving his explanation as to why he got so, in her words, defensive at that dinner with her daughter and his brother, she said, I understood about 40% of what he said, but I saw his
Mm.
emotions, so I knew he was sincere. Girl,
Yeah.
like, so when he talks to you any other time, you're only understanding 40% of what he says on a regular basis. It's like, is this how y'all communication works? Is that you're only picking up a little bit of the conversation and you're just letting the rest of it slide?
Yeah,
That
but see that don't work out, Jonathan, because you have to
No,
because even with it don't matter who you are. If you're married to somebody or if it's your best friend, you have to be able to understand what they're telling you, and
exactly.
you have to be, we have to know the same language. We have to understand where we're coming from in order for us to make any sense. So this kind of don't make any sense to me, Jonathan. It don't make any sense to me
And
at
she
all.
and she actually said in her confessional that she knows that Josh doesn't like it when she brings up their financial issues and the fact that he can't contribute financially. She knows it. So that
Then why
tells
does she keep?
me she doesn't. Go
My
ahead,
question
Dustin.
is to you, John. My question is to you, Jonathan. Is why does she keep doing it for?
Because she doesn't care. She doesn't care about Josh's feelings. She doesn't care about his emotional state. She doesn't care about his mental health. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care about what she feels because she is the breadwinner. She is the head honcho. She is the HBIC, as Tiffany New York Pollard would say. She's the
Mm-hmm.
one in charge. And it's her way or the highway. I don't
Correct.
care that you get emotional about me bringing up finances. I'm bringing it up because I'm bringing in the money and I'm the only one bringing in the money. So either you deal with it or you can leave. And
Right.
that's how I feel Lily feels about Josh. And she covers everything up with a smile. She's always smiling in her confessionals, whether she's upset, whether she's happy, no matter what her emotional state is, she's always smiling in her confessionals. And I
Right.
tend and I've tend to I have tended to see that throughout this entire season. And it annoys me because it's like a person
So
with power knowing the
yeah.
power that they hold in their hands, and it just seems devious to me for some. I don't know. I'm not caring for Lily, and I just feel bad for Josh, and I want Josh to come back to America and find a woman that will love him and appreciate him,
Mm-hmm.
and treat him the way and care for him the way that Lily clearly does not. Because I don't see
Mm-hmm.
what Lily is doing for Josh other than taking care
Not
of
a
him
darn,
financially.
not a darn thing. Not a damn thing.
Exactly. Exactly. So
He's not. She's not doing. He. She's not doing him a damn bit of good.
no, not at all whatsoever. Lily is not she doesn't understand the assignment, okay? She's failing. Anyways,
She's failing
that's
majorly.
miserably, but
Majorly.
that's all we got for Lily. I don't expect to see a wedding ceremony. I'll be surprised to see a wedding ceremony because if they ain't got the money, it clearly ain't gonna happen unless they, just go down to a Chinese courthouse if you can get married like that in
Yeah, I don't
China.
think
But
it's gonna happen, Jonathan.
I don't think so either, and I hope that it doesn't happen. And I hope this allows Josh a window of opportunity to escape China and to come back to the States, and find true love for himself. But
I'm just gonna
anyways,
say,
that's
I'm just gonna say this real quick, Jonathan.
okay.
If it happens, you will be getting a message from me saying I will be really surprised because I don't think it's gonna happen at all. Hmm.
I don't think so, Dustin, either. But I guess we'll both be surprised together if it does
We
happen within
will.
the
We
next
definitely
couple of
will.
weeks.
Yes, we will.
Let's move on to Corona and Engie. Engie and Corona. This is our couple in Iceland.
Yes.
Corona left the bar after she had this conversation with Engie concerning the fact that she wanted to get married, and he doesn't have that same interest, or those are not his intentions with her as far as them being in a relationship. He does not want to get married, and she walks off, and she's telling the producers that this is really important for me. Like, although she's not traditional in a traditional sense, marriage is still a very important thing to her. So I don't know exactly what her background has been, whether she grew up with a two-parent household or if this is just something that she's always wanted. Like, marriage is something that I've always wanted, Dustin. And so I know for a fact when I get into relate to a relationship, I can only be with a partner who is interested in marriage as well. Because if they're not
Yes.
interested in marriage, you can't do
Then
nothing
it ain't
for
gonna work out.
me.
Then it ain't gonna work out for you, and I don't want you. And I don't want. And I don't want to see your heart broken, Jonathan. So,
I
because if your heart's broken, my heart will be broken as well. Because you are my best friend, and that's what I want the best for my best friend. So
I
I honestly, if somebody breaks your heart, they will breaking mine as well. Because if something happens to you, something is definitely gonna my life will definitely change.
I appreciate that, Dustin. So she goes off and she stays in a hotel, and so Angie comes back. He comes back, and no flowers in his hand, and Corona is real surprised by that. Oh, you ain't got no flowers in your hand? What's going on? You're supposed to be on your hands and knees begging me for my forgiveness, begging me to come back to your house, begging me to be back with you again. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
Corona's surprised that he's doesn't come bearing gifts, I guess. And so they get to this conversation about the fact that she says, so you were really surprised. She asked him if he was really surprised that she wants to get married. And he said, we never had that conversation. I never knew. And she said, I literally sent you two different rings that I saw. It's like, when it comes to this particular conversation concerning marriage, a lifelong thing, you
Yes.
can't just have the conversation by throwing out hints. Throwing
No.
out hints is not a conversation. Yes, that's a hint for, someone who might be interested in marriage, but I don't know what he was thinking when he saw those things. And maybe he thought that she was, kind of joking about it in a joking manner. I mean, I think that's actually what,
Mm-hmm.
what he said during their conversation. And
My my thing, I have a big. This couple's not sitting right with me this episode, Jonathan, because you have to have that conversation from day one. If you're going to
mhm,
have a relationship with somebody, you have to be truthfully honest about what you want in in a person, Jonathan. And he doesn't want what she wants, so I'm just gonna say it because I think it's true. She don't want what she wants at all because if he wanted to get married, he wouldn't be uh jumping around telling her, well, we're gonna do this later, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. No, you're either gonna get married or you're not, and,
right. And,
and that's just downright how I feel about that because why should you keep pulling her, telling her you're gonna get married when you're not gonna do it at all? Because
right.
you can find somebody else who what's what you want, you have to be the person, you gotta have these kind of conversations in the first place.
You do. And so, Corona says if you're interested in someone who doesn't want to get married, then you got with the wrong girl. And Angie responds by saying, I see us growing old together. I see us, sitting on the rocking chair outside of our house, just, thinking on the old times. And he did eventually say marriage is in the cards for us in the future. And Corona with the most realist reaction to his statement. She says, I think you're just saying that because that's what I want to hear. So
Yes.
Corona is, she knows better. She knows
I
better. You really can't pull the wool over her eyes. And so
and I
she
say
understands where he stands. Go ahead, Dustin.
and I have to say I agree with her
Hmm.
110% because
Yeah.
I can see the red flags. I know, and I know that Jonathan can see them as well. Me and
Hmm.
Jonathan are on the same page with a lot of things, you know. Uh, and I feel like that she could be better off with somebody else. And I don't I don't say that with anything because I that's the truth. That's how I feel because he's just dragging her right along.
Exactly. Robin said down in the comments, Lily knows he ain't got no money. She doesn't want to get married. Exactly, Robin. And I think once again, the reason why she waited so long to tell him that she ain't got the money is that she don't want to marry the man. It's so
She
much
don't want to
easier to
marry him.
tell
No,
the
she don't.
man you don't want to get
Mm-mm.
married than to just bring it on up on him. It's like, oh, we ain't got no money, so I guess we can't do it. Child.
Nah.
In any way, so as far as Corona and
Mhm.
NG are concerned, um, I don't
Hi,
expect for
Bionica.
Corona. Hey, Bianca. I don't expect for Corona to stick around
Mm-mm.
because she knows for sure that NG is not interested in getting married. And if he does get married, he's only doing it because Corona wants to do it. Never do
Right.
something for someone just because they want to do it if you don't in your
Mm-mm.
heart want have that same desire for yourself.
Right.
It's really not worth it because you might getting to something like a marriage that is legalized. And
Mm.
we all know it's much easier to get married than it is to get divorced, even though divorce is
Yes.
possible for everyone.
Right.
And not everyone wants to have to go through that situation and that
Mm-mm.
transition. And so
No, because
I'm hoping
divorces could be a long drawn out process, Jonathan,
long, drawn out,
and,
and expensive.
and expensive. They can be, yeah, all three of them things. So if you don't know if you want to be with the person for the long haul, then don't put yourself through that. Anybody, and that goes for anybody. That goes for both of us on this panel. Don't put
Right.
yourself through that for anything and anything because you have to make for sure that's who you want for the long haul, Jonathan.
Yes, absolutely. And
Right.
so although I do love Angie, I love his personality. I love what he brings to the show. He's a really lighthearted guy. Any woman would want to. He's a type of guy who likes to have fun, and I like that.
Right.
But he's not the serious type. He's
Mm-hmm.
not one who really wants to get down to the nitty gritty, really wants to have those hard, tough conversations. He's really not the guy for that type of time. And so I think if Corona knows what's best for her, and she literally said that I put aside what is it called, her midwifing
Her midwife
schooling. She
school, yeah.
put that
Mm-hmm.
aside for him. Did you really put it aside for him, Corona? Because I don't know if that's necessarily true. But you know what I'm saying?
No,
That that's what she said.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think
I
she
don't
done
think
it.
it's true either.
I don't. I think it. I think she done it for herself. I don't think she knows exactly what she wants, uh, Jonathan. But I
Hmm.
think that she's. I think that she's really not. She's really not. Um, what's the word? I don't. She's really not. She don't know what she wants quite yet.
Right. I'm thinking that too. Even though I know that she knows she wants to get married, I don't think that she's found the right person to do it with. And I think
Right.
in this scene, it shows us that she does
Mm.
love NG. She loves him very much, and I think that NG loves her as well. But with them being on different sides of the fence as it pertains to getting married, it's just simply not going to work out for either one of them. I would love
Right.
to see them at the tell-all. I would love to see them come away from this as friends, but they don't need to be together. And she doesn't need to
You
be
know what
living
I?
in Iceland if she's not going
You
to be
know.
with him.
You know what I like to see, Jonathan.
What?
I would like to see them at the tell-all, but I don't want to see them sitting together.
Gotcha.
I don't want to see them sitting. I want them to see. I want them to be apart because I think if they're sitting together, I think that she's telling him what not to say and what. I think that I don't think we'll get the full truth if they're sitting together, but if they're sitting apart, we might get the full truth
So
because
do you
honestly,
think
mhm.
so do you think Corona kind of influences NG and his thought processes and what he
Yes,
has
I
to
do.
say? Oh
Yes, I do.
wow. I haven't
Honestly, I
even
do
picked up on
feel it.
that.
I feel like that 110%, Jonathan. I feel like that we don't get the full truth on the TV. I don't
Gotcha.
we don't get the full truth from her and this other from her and him.
That's very true. On these reality shows, y'all, if y'all have not realized this yet, we only get what they show us on TV. We do not know what is happening when the cameras are
We
off
don't
in their
we don't
personal
know
lives.
what we don't know what's happening when this when the camera when the TV goes off. We don't know what happening behind closed doors.
We
And
do
that's the whole
not.
thing. That's the whole thing apart. about tell-all. We get to find out what happens behind closed doors sometimes. But
Right.
they also have to be themselves. And I don't think they're going to be themselves if they're sitting together. I think that she's going to tell him what to say and what not to say. Hmm.
Wow. So, even though I love both of these characters, both NG and Corona,
Yes,
by themselves, I don't think that it's best that they stay together.
I think
What
it
is
is.
your final thoughts on Corona and NG?
My final thoughts on this couple is I don't want them to stay together because
Hmm.
they are not meant for them. They are not meant for to be together, Jonathan. There are certain couples that are not meant to be together, and I hate to say this, but it's the truth, and I say
Yeah.
nothing but the truth on this. And my and I honestly I don't feel like they need to be together for the long haul, Jonathan. I think they need to separate
Yeah.
and find somebody else that is more compatible with this person because I don't think they are compatible together for the long haul, Jonathan.
Yeah, I honestly have never seen them be romantic. In my opinion, I've never really seen them like look at each other in a certain way that makes them look like they want to, just tear each other apart or see any love in their eyes. And like they just seem like really good friends to me. And I think that they
Right.
can continue their relationship as friends and just not do the whole sex thing. And since we know that his member isn't necessarily working like it's supposed to be, as I've
Right.
learned, thank you so much, Robin, for that insight
By the
on
way,
that
thank you, Robin, so
condition.
much. I didn't know about that, but thank you for
R- r-
telling me that, Jonathan.
Right, exactly. I
Because I
think
didn't
they
know.
would be so much better off and so much happier if they found love the way that they want to find it. And once again, you have to have these conversations when you're in a relationship. If you're looking for
You have to
marriage,
have
if marriage is the end game, make sure that's a part of your conversation in the first couple of
you
dates.
have to have the conversation. Period. Even
Yes,
if it's no matter if it's your best friend or if you have plan on getting married in the future, because you have to be totally honest who who you are the most comfortable with, and that's for me. That is Jonathan, and Jonathan and I have conversations a lot of different things, but I have to be totally honest about everything that I do. So I expect
right.
everything. I think everybody around me should be the same way. I want them to be totally honest with me as well. Because that's the way that I
Exactly.
am. So I expect the same thing from the people that I are very, very close with. Hmm.
Right. Bianca said down in the comments earlier, a little bit earlier, Happy Monday, everybody. She gave us the blue and yellow hearts and it looks like a pink something or another. I can't really make out what it is, but thank you so much for that, Bianca. Let's
Yeah.
move on to our last couple. It's because see, we're going on almost 30 minutes now, Dustin.
Yeah.
So we have James and Natalia. So Dustin, I have to, tell you a little secret.
What's
So
that?
I have not looked at James in any way, shape, or form in any type of attraction. But when I
Hmm.
saw James in his wedding attire and he'd had no top on and I saw his chest, I was like, oh,
He was
wait a minute.
he was
Okay,
handsome, wasn't
James.
he?
I see
He
a
was.
little, I see a little something, something. Oh, okay. All right. So
Mhm.
James and Natalia, they actually have their Indonesian wedding. She
Right.
said that she wanted to have a Japanese or some type of word that's close to Japanese, but not actually Japanese, but Japanese style wedding because she grew up Japanese. And I thought she looked really nice. She had a little bit more makeup on than usual. She said she felt weird having all that makeup on. The singing during the wedding, James put it nice and neat the way that he should have. You know what I'm saying? I've
Right.
never heard those types of notes before. Not sure if I want to hear them again. However, he did
I don't want
enjoy
to hear
the
him again.
dancing of the Virgin, but that
Right.
singing it wasn't off key, but it just wasn't pleasing to the ear. It's not something that I
Mm.
want to necessarily hear again. But it seems like
Mm.
Natalia's sister is on better terms with James. I don't know. I don't know how she came to this conclusion in one day, in a matter of a couple of hours, that she's now okay with James. But I'm thinking that she wanted to just be in a happy space for them since this was a
Mm.
big day for both of them. And Natalia is in the mindset of thinking, well, maybe since he's having all this fun, he's going to want to stay here in Indonesia and not want to go back to the US. Well, we saw in the preview for the next episode that the U.S. is still on James's mind. And I agree with James. I would not want to be in a foreign country, not having the ability to be able to financially support myself, my family, my wife,
Mm-mm.
and my soon-to-be children. If I'm living
Mm,
here in this country, it's best for them to go back to the U.S. But at the same time, I understand Natalia not wanting to go back to the U.S. because that's a foreign country for her. But the thing is,
yeah,
Dustin, I still see the love between them.
I
I
do too.
still see that they love one another, that they care for one another very deeply. There really is no like language barrier with them, like there is with Josh and Lily. They're able to understand each other perfectly when they're having conversations, and
Yeah.
they don't shy away from the conversations, which is what
No, they
I'm
don't.
also happy about. Even though they were, unclear about the whole having kids thing, but for the most part, they're pretty good about putting their feelings out there and letting them be known and not letting them fester or get out of hand. But I thought that the wedding was beautiful. I thought they both
Yes.
looked beautiful. I've never seen a groom's outfit without the shirt though, so
Right.
maybe I need to do some research on how to and see a little bit more of that because James has a nice
Well, if you do,
body. Like I did not expect to see that underneath them clothes. So shout out
well,
to
if you did do,
James. You put yourself out there. We like what we see. But
yes.
Dustin, how did you feel about the wedding, the singing, the dancing? What did
Well,
you
I
feel
like
about it?
I like the wedding part was pretty the highlight of this episode for me.
Yes,
I like to see people and get married and be happy and their marriage, Jonathan. That brings a lot of peace to me as well. So
right,
I like to see them be happy. I don't want to see nobody be not happy. And if in a happy time, supposed to be a happy time when you're getting married to somebody that you're in a relationship with. When you guys do get married, I expect you guys to be happy and not be miserable. So
right,
that's what and the question you asked about them her sister being in a better place is I think that she's doing this for her for the TV show, Jonathan.
mm-hmm,
I
yeah,
think she's doing this for the cameras. But I honestly, after the cameras are over with, I honestly don't think that they are in a better place behind closed doors. I think they are still in the same place that they was when cameras before when all this happened. I don't think that it's going to take a long time for them to heal,
right.
Jonathan, because this is not this is no laughing matter, Jonathan. This is a serious thing, and I don't think that one day is going to change the whole whatever year or 2 years that this is going on. But one thing is, time time heals wounds,
Right.
but but you're just not going to be a different person in one day. That's
Mm-hmm.
not going to happen, Jonathan.
Right.
It doesn't happen that way. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, this year has been a been a very trying time for me as well,
Mm-hmm.
and 2024 has been a very life changing year as well for me as well. And I'm still processing all of that, but
Right.
we, me and Jonathan, we get through it because I get through it with him as well. So, and that's what I mean. Because time doesn't heal. Time heals old wounds, but it takes time, and it
Right.
depends on if you're in the process to do. If you're in the process of healing something, well, say something else happens to somebody else. You kind of have to start the process all over again. Just depends because it depends on what happens. So, it's been a crazy year for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2024 has been a life changing year for me as well.
Right.
Thanks to Jonathan, is a big part of that. So thank you very much.
No problem, Dustin. So I thought the wedding was very beautiful. I really did enjoy seeing them getting married. I enjoyed seeing them being so happy together. But as we saw in the preview for the next episode, Justin, James is going to bring up the fact that he still wants to move back to the U.S. And she gets really emotional. It looks like her sister is there consoling her, and her
Mm-hmm.
sister's going to get back to that same old thing. You're taking my sister away from me, and as I stated before, that's kind of the way that I felt about Tyrone when he and Jennifer first got married. But I had to
Right.
get over that because she has to be happy. She has to be happy in her marriage. And I'm always going to be her brother, and no one can
Yeah.
ever take that away from
Well,
me. And so she needs to take that same sentiment.
yes.
It's kind of annoying to hear for the most part, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But that's all we have for this particular review,
Mm-hmm.
you guys. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash
Right.
App is $Jonathan Lee 07. That's $JONATHAN07. Dustin, go ahead and give us your social
My
medias.
Facebook is Dustin Butler, and my Instagram is Dustin Butler 700. And I want to thank you to Jonathan for very much as well, always being there. And I love you very much, Jonathan. Thank you for always being there, no matter what I go through. So thank you very much.
Love you too, Dustin. Thank you so much for joining me for my 90-day fiance reviews. It's awesome to have you here, and it's awesome to be
Yeah,
able to see you at least once a week. It is truly a pleasure. So thank you guys for joining us
thank you.
today. Join us next week, same time, same place, same
Some
beautiful
beautiful
faces.
faces.
But
Yeah.
until then, we'll say bye for now, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day, an awesome week, and go out there and vote.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
go out there
is
and vote, people.
election day.
Tomorrow's election day, and this election is probably the one of the most elections that are very high risk for me because I don't want Project 2025 to go into effect because it'll definitely affect me at a highest level. So I don't think that the future will be in a better place if we have Kamala Harris as our next president. Jonathan, very much.
True that, true that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful day. We'll say bye for now, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day. Take care, y'all.